Welcome everyone to the month of February. This is applicable to pretty much every single year unless the law changes. The first thing I'm going to tell you about February are the reports that are due on the 15th of the month. We're going to go in order. The first major reporting deadline during the month of February is going to be on the 15th of the month. Like it happened in the 31st of January, we are still talking about information returns. The information returns are typically the forms 1099. Now, what are the three forms 1099 that are due on the 15th of February? Number one is 1099-S, which has to do with the reporting of the proceeds from real property transactions if somebody sold a piece of real estate. Number two is the form 1099-B. The form 1099-B is the form that is issued whenever you typically have a broker's account that you receive dividends, that you have capital gains, proceeds of that nature. And then finally, the form 1099 miscellaneous, which before used to include the non-employee compensation, which is now 1099 NEC. But everything else, everything that's miscellaneous is going to be provided in form 1099 MISC. Now, here's the deal. It is very likely that you will need an extension of time to filing these returns. And one thing that I typically do for my company and for my clients' companies is to file an extension. So what you really need to file is the extension by the 15th. How do you do that? You file Form 8809. Form 8809 has to be filed before the due date of the return, like it would happen with any other return you're filing. Here are the conditions for filing Form 8809. If the company needs to send in 10 returns or less, you're still allowed to file paper 8809. 10 returns or less, a paper 8809. If the company files more than 10, 11 and up, and I'm talking about not only 1099Ss, 1099Bs, information returns total. That includes every single 1099. So if you need to file more than 10, electronic filing is mandatory starting calendar year, this calendar year 2024, we're filing 2023, which is when we're recording this. So, more than 10, you gotta do the e-file. How do you do that? How do you do the e-file? You do it using the FIRE system, the Federal Information Return, Filing of Information Returns Electronically system. Now, how do you accomplish that? Number one, every single tax practitioner should have an account with the IRS for the requesting of transcripts, for the submissions of powers of attorney. And in order for you to be able to have that account with the IRS, you need to create a profile at id.me. We're going to do a video where I will share your screen as to how you have to do this. Just in case you don't have an online profile, I recommend you get it now. The main thing you need for an id.me account is a cell phone which receives text messages and a photo ID so that they can corroborate what your identity is. After you have your login credentials, then you're going to need a transmittal control number, a TCC. A TCC, it's an ID that you're going to get saying, listen, I'm going to be sending documents on behalf of XY company. What do you need in order to obtain a TCC? You need at least two officers, two responsible persons from the company that have an ID with the US government, meaning the individuals need to have either a social security number or an ITIN, an individual taxpayer identification number. If you don't have the two individuals that are responsible for the company that do have the numbers to identify themselves, you cannot do electronic filing. They're going to require you do that. So make sure when you take the intake of the client that you have two individuals with social security numbers or with ITINs. Once you have your TCC, which is again something I'm going to share my screen and show you how you can obtain one, then you're registered to do the fire administration submission. So you're going to send in both the extension, meaning the 8809, and the forms whenever they're due. Again, you're more than welcome to file all of these forms today. The sooner the better. But if you can't, 8809 is the way to go.